major moment for me. You're talking about Money in the Bank 2023. I didn't come out on top of that, but if you want to talk about just the interaction and the reaction from the crowd live here in the building, that might have been my night. I use my mom as a great example. My mom was never a big fan, ever, never, ever. And maybe she's a little biased now because I'm in it. You know, she came to Wrestlemania last year and now she's in love with it. She's like, oh my God, I saw Snoop Dogg and this and that, whatever. And now it's like, all she does is search and Google wrestling and WWE all the time. And I'm like, you gotta take it easy, just calm down. This would be one. When you talk about, actually, I tell you what, let me more on that in a minute.
The irresistible force meeting the immovable object.
From ecstasy to humiliation, fame to obscurity, and back again.
Finish the story!
An endless cycle that changed the rules and blurred the lines.
It's moving to Netflix. It's going to have an even larger audience than it already has. I'd love to know, what were your initial reactions when you heard of this big move?
My initial reaction is that I think, as you said, there's a bigger opportunity there for more eyes. I think gone are the days of channel surfing, where you kind of run into WWE or Smackdown or whatever it is, and now there's that opportunity of you load up Netflix, and right here on the main page you can see LA Knight, Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, any of those, or even just a smattering or a highlight of WWE. And it can be people who maybe haven't checked in a while, or maybe have never seen our product at all, and now can go, all right, yeah, at my leisure now, instead of catching it at 8 o'clock or whatever time, I'm gonna check this out. And so there's an enormous opportunity there.
Absolutely. So is it a welcome move from yourself? And I know obviously you can't speak for everyone, but for having, again, more eyes on you guys.
Everybody else is angry about it.
Yeah.
I'm the only one happy about it, actually. I think everybody's kind of excited at the prospects of it. Again, because anytime you're doing this, to do this business, there's always a little bit of ego going. Actually, there's probably a lot of ego going on between everybody. To do something like this, you want more people to recognize your work. You want more people to say, hey, you know what? You're doing really well, or you're good, or I like you, or I can't stand you, you suck. Whatever that absolute value of reaction is, you want it from as many eyes as possible. And so there is, just as I said before, an enormous opportunity here for everybody.
So, and of course we see your belt there. Do you have some, standout career highlights that you can share with the Radio Times audience?
This would be one. When you talk about, actually, I tell you what, let me more on that in a minute. We're sitting right now in the O2 Arena, and here in the O2 Arena was a major moment for me. You're talking about Money in the Bank 2023. I didn't come out on top of that, but if you want to talk about just the interaction and the reaction from the crowd live here in the building, that might have been my night, even though I didn't come out with the case. And with that being the case, that was almost my springboard. Things had already been brewing and that groundswell of support was coming, but this was like a fever pitch, and from there things took off. So I would definitely say that was a moment. Slim Jim Battle Royal, so the SummerSlam that came shortly after that. Crown Jewel with me and Roman Reigns. Me and John Cena tagging up at, what was that? Was that Fastlane, or I think it was Fastlane of last year. There's a lot going on, but when you talk about actually creating a resume, creating a legacy, and actually having a real tangible achievement, this is my first one. And from here, I want to build on it. I want to make this title synonymous with this face and see where this can go.
Absolutely. And you mentioned there with audiences, when you travel around the world and you sort of see all these fans and all these people, shouting your name, do you ever just get a bit of oh my God, what's happening? Do you ever get a bit shocked?
I did the first time. And sometimes after I'm out of the moment, I can go back and just be like, oh, wow. But in the moment, for the most part, I'm so in the zone. I don't know how to. With the second I go through that curtain, it's just business.
I guess, do you hope this also opens more door for people getting into the WWE, as a contender, how to describe it, getting into the sport itself?
Maybe. The only problem with that is, you have to be very committed to this. It's not easy to do. Not anybody can do it. I think, unfortunately, at times that impression's maybe been given. and it's very, very difficult. One of the few who I can say has excelled and made and actually done like a decent job at it is Logan Paul. But for the most part, like this is tough to do. It's difficult on your body. It's difficult just in the sense of the travel, but also just kind of knowing your way in and out of the ring. So with that being the case, do I think it opens up more opportunities for that? Possibly. I think it opens up more opportunities for crossover ability, whether it's, maybe us going into their universe or them coming into our universe in some capacity. But in ring, who knows? It really depends on how much they're willing to put into perfecting the craft.
Absolutely. And do you have any advice for people who, would listen to this and think, right, I can do all of that? Is there any advice you would give them?
Check yourself. And what I mean by that, I don't mean that in the sense of like, no, but what I mean is you got to really do an honest assessment of yourself and make sure that like, hey, do I really have something? And from the start, when I started doing this, I didn't know that I had something particular to offer, but for me, it was like, all right, I set certain goals for myself where like, I need to look a certain way, be a certain weight. And I knew that I had natural athletic ability. I come from a family of athletes. You have to have a lot of these things to fall in line, but also maybe not just fall in line, but to build on and to, I'm always trying to make myself better, whether it's mentally, verbally, in the ring, in the gym, the way I look, all that kind of stuff. So it's really such a package that you have to put together. And so if somebody can really commit themselves to doing all of that, by all means.
Yeah, and so for first-time viewers who may not be fans of WWE, and again, it will be all over the splash and we'll just tune in, across those all events, what can you give a taste of what people can expect who have never tuned in to WWE before?
I can't speak to everybody because everybody's gonna have different tastes, but what I can say is everybody, there's a little something for everybody. And I use my mom as a great example. My mom was never a big fan, ever, never, ever. And maybe she's a little biased now because I'm in it. But she came to Wrestlemania last year and now she's in love with it. She's like, oh my God, I saw Snoop Dogg and this and that, whatever. And now it's like, all she does is search and Google wrestling and WWE all the time. And I'm like, you gotta take it easy, just calm down. But if she can be turned and become like a big major fan, anybody can get in there. And the reason is because, like I said, there's something for everybody. You're gonna laugh, you're gonna cry, you're gonna get mad, you're gonna have a great time all around.
Everyone's experienced all the emotions.
Yeah.
And do you hope or envision that this will, obviously the fans of WWE, it's across generations and has been for years. Do you envision that that's just gonna continue and it's gonna spread across more generations, but also, different parts of the world, like the UK, for example?
I would have to imagine. I mean, we've always been kind of a global brand, but at the same time, it's like the amount of international tours we've been doing just in the past year is immense. And the international PLEs, for instance, all of that. And I know that coming up in March, just before WrestleMania, we've got 3 weeks of TV that I think we're going to be doing all around Europe. So with that being the case, I mean, it's something that was already enormous, now growing even more. So it's you couldn't think it could get any bigger, and we continue to just get bigger and bigger.
Absolutely. And I guess when you first started out at the WWE, had you ever imagined that this would kind of be, moving to Netflix, which is such like a household name now,
Sure.
that be joined together like that?
Well, it's crazy to think about because I mean, even just the journeys of where WWE's gone as far as the different networks, and I mean, domestically in the United States, you're talking about USA, which is big cable network, Fox. That to me, that was like one of those big. They talk about the big 3, but it's part of the big 4 major networks in the US. So even that was kind of cool. But now Netflix takes it to a whole other level where you're talking worldwide distribution, and now, especially in the UK and in Europe, and I think around most of the world, you've got access now to Raw, Smackdown, NXT, every single one of the premium live events, which includes WrestleMania and all that, right in one platform. And like I said, again, that opportunity for more eyes who've never seen it or haven't seen it in a while to go, I'm gonna give this a shot.
Of course. And then one final question, which I kind of asked everyone. I guess this is quite broad, but if you could sum up the WWE or your time here so far in just 3 adjectives, how would you describe it?
My time in the WWE?
Yeah,
Huge, crazy, And yes, it will stick with unexpected.